So yeah, you're talking about. So he's saying it's Battle Through the Heavens, not Soul Land. Soul Land 2 is different, by the way, but I feel like it is going in a really good direction because they've managed to make it very different from the first Soul Land, which is pretty good. But back to Battle Through the Heavens, I 100% understand where people are with Battle Through the Heavens. It feels repetitive. You know, Xiaoyan goes somewhere, he fights somebody. You know, it it is repetitive, but in a sense, it's still enjoyable. But the repetitiveness does make you feel like, okay, I'm not surprised by anything. You know, uh, but I feel like it's understandable where it is, but they need to get away from that now, and they need to just give us the climax. You know, we need to just have the big clash with Soul Hall and just get it over with. You know, they need to bring his dad back into it, and because there's not really anywhere for them to go right now. The only thing they're doing is Giant's going somewhere new, fighting somebody. He may need something that he's fighting for, you know, and then they kind of go away, But and then they go away and they become like his new enemy. So he's making new enemies every arc, but occasionally there's something different, and there's a different experience. But he's always go somewhere new. He meets somebody new and they want to fight him, essentially. But there's the unique stuff that happened too, like with the Dragon Girl and helping her reach her. But it's not even unique to a certain stage, because he did that with Medusa, and he did that with Poison Girl. He did that with kind of everybody in his crew to an extent. But at the same time, you can't, like you said before, you can't exclude the first seasons and how great the seasons were about him not having his power, meeting the master, and his journey. What happened to his dad? What happened with Fang? Meeting the guy who killed his master. All of those stuff were really, 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 really great stuff. But now it's to a level where, okay, you rescued your master, you accomplished the main goal, and it's like they don't really know what to do now. So it's kind of repetitive in terms of, okay, he's just doing the same thing over and over again until he ultimately has to fight Soul Hall. But it's like, it's kind of making a lot of fans getting bored. A lot of fans are getting bored, which is understandable, you know. Right. Yeah. But that's not a terrible thing, Edmondson. It's just that it's happening too much. So it's like, you know, when is he gonna be strong enough? you know? No, I get it. I agree with you. There is I think it's the repetitiveness of Battle Through the Heavens recently that's making a lot of people bored. They do need to kind of get to the point, But I feel like they're slowly going there, because he met his girlfriend from the Gold Clan, and I feel like after her, they have to do they have to either go back to Medusa and finish the stuff with her, and then I feel like everything will be complete after that, and then the Soul Hall, because I feel like he just met everybody that he has to meet already. He met the ancient clans. He's met all his friends that he met that he had a relationship with in the past. I feel like the only thing is left is for him to maybe meet Medusa again and finish up their thing, which is not even a major thing. And then it's like, okay, let's finish this series up, Yeah, they're kind of milking Battle Through the Heavens a little bit too much. Yeah, but here's the thing. I wouldn't say he feels like a noob, only because the guys that he's fighting against are older than him. So a young kid like Zhao Yan fighting against these older dudes and being at a disadvantage, it kind of does make sense. Because even though he's special, like, let's put it this way: when he's fighting against kids in his generation, he doesn't feel like a noob though. Think about it, right? Whenever he's fighting somebody that's in his generation, like his age, he does outclass them really. It's when like he's facing like the adults who's been around for like a long time, they kind of make him look a little bit weaker. But when he's fighting like his generation, it's like he kind of brushes them aside. But like I said, Edmondson, I think you're like kind of bored with it. Like, let's get to it. Giant needs to kind of start becoming the guy in the series now. Then Yao La came in and he did his thing, and Zhao Yan moved forward. So back then the story was like perfect, but that was the build up. We didn't know the full context of the series. They captured his dad, they attacked his clan. All those things were just epic. But now we just need to fight Solan, Soul Hawk. Like, what are we waiting on? Nah, it doesn't. You're right. Yeah, Dao Hong is like nothing now. Yep. Now Dao Hong is nothing. Even the Dao Zong is nothing. You're right. Yeah, even the Dao Zong is like, psh, just throw that aside, really. I mean, think about it. I think Haibo Dong is probably still in Dao Hong, right? And look how strong we thought he was. I mean, universe is a bit forced. Like, there is really older people with certain levels and people with like 20 years at the same level. Understandable, right? Like I said, that is understandable what you're saying, but at the same time, the people that are forced a little bit, right? Some of them is a little bit understandable. Like Zhao Yan's girlfriend, she's from the Gold Clan and she's like a prodigy, right? Zhao Yan is also a prodigy if Yao La didn't take his soul power. So even though they shouldn't, there is an imbalance in a sense, they're classified as prodigies. So it's a little bit acceptable, And they came with this, ancient clan, ancient blood type of stuff. So it kind of gives Zhao Yan and the rest an excuse. Yeah. But yeah, Dao Zong and those things, they don't really matter anymore. If you're not a fucking, excuse my language, a Bang Sheng or right there, it's like you're a nobody again. I feel like Bang Sheng though, you're not gonna meet a lot of characters that's gonna be Bang Sheng, because like you said, when we were first being introduced to the series, Dao Zong was so powerful, and now it's like there's so many of them. It's not special anymore because there's so many Dao Zongs. Yeah, I agree. The 3-year agreement was probably the best, It just, in general though, in a lot of series that I watch, anime and Dongyo overall, the 3-year agreement was, the build up to the 3-year agreement, it was done really well. Zhao Yan getting the heavenly flame for the first time and all of those things. It was just learning all his techniques and stuff. The build up to that was really good. Him getting the wings, him getting the weapon, like everything mattered, you know. And he's using all of those things now. It's crazy. He's still a heavenly flame guy. He still has the sword. Those things are still unique about him because it was so important. Jiayan being a kid and these guys that's been cultivating for hundreds of years, it doesn't fully fit. But that they're priming Zhao Yan to be the most powerful character that's ever been in the series. So, at the same time, he's more than a generational talent. He's gonna be something that they've never seen before. So that plays into what he is right now, which does kind of, go along with it.